censor or audit, the persons who are registering. And so multiple registration will not be allowed. It is surprising that when the list came out, the register came out, we found 2-3 persons as one that came out. Then it then means that that system is not working. So while the people are not wanting to collect these things, those things are a waste. Some of them have their own PVCs, and so those ones are just extra. The other one is the apathy, during elections. When we do elections and what they are saying is not what really happened, it has affected us. So until Nigerians change, thank you.
All right, Abinoye, thank you. A short commercial. As soon as we return, more facts and more calls. Good morning. has said it is looking at a policy that will require it to withdraw and destroy uncollected PVCs after a space of 10 years. If you go back from the last election in 2023, about 6,259,229 PVCs were not collected. And further back to 2015, we also have several uncollected PVCs. The point is, INEC is saying 6 million. I think it's way more than 6 million. And I think the 6 million they're referring to would be for just the last election, uncollected PVCs, which would be the lowest compared to 2015 or 2019. If you go to the INEC page, inecnigeria.org, you would see the whole graph and the maps and the various states and how many PVCs were uncollected in each of those states. And I think the numbers would show that uncollected competing were Lagos, Ogun State, and Rivers State. I think were the highest for uncollected PVCs. Lagos with about 845,225, and that's closely followed by Ogun State with over 410, and then Rivers State with about 251. Now, I think it's also fair to put the population size into consideration, so maybe that's why it looks the way it is. But total, a little over 6 million uncollected PVCs. Now, what's interesting is there was an increase in the collection of PVCs, according to INEC. This was from a report in 2015. And in the last election, INEC also announced another increase, well over 80%. In 2015, it was about 80% collection at the time. INEC even announced way more than that in the last election. So the question is, what really is the problem? And we also have to address the unprinted PVCs, because that's something that seemed not to be talked about. There are those that are registered but are not getting their PVCs. There are some people that are still using the temporary thing till now, and they registered years back. So that's also a major problem, and I think it's something that's worthy of note. How is the Commission going to address that particular problem of unprinted PVCs and see how they will be printed? And from what the few callers said before we went on the break, largely felt as though it's not that Nigerians are even worried about how stressful the process of registering and collecting the PVC is. Not that they do not want it to be more flexible, they do, but they do not mind it being stressful as long as the election process is simple, seamless, and done appropriately. What they see on the ground match what the Commission says at the end of the day. If that's the case, they are saying lots of people will be willing to stand on the line, stand on the queues, go through the stress to collect the PVCs, as long as they know that their votes will genuinely count and be seen as counted in their eyes. And so that's where we are. We'll go back and take a few more calls, and then I'll give you some more facts about the uncollected PVCs, registered voters, etc., between 2015 and now. The numbers to call are 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. Why are many Nigerians not interested in going to collect their PVCs, even after going through the stress of registering? Registering in the last election, some people would say it was a bit seamless in some local government areas because of the technique employed by the Commission and how it got to ward levels where you can even collect your card at the ward level. But does it have to be that way? What about those people who do not belong to political parties? We would not be looking at all of that now. All right. So there's also going to be that needs to be considered. Let's go to Yenegua and start with Lawson. Good morning, Lawson.
Good morning, Andrew.
Yes.
Nigerians are very difficult people to satisfy, I tell you. You see, the problem with us is that when things don't go our way, we feel the process is bad, the process is not good enough. Look at Ghana. I see Nigerians praising Ghanaian election. Oh, Ghana. Oh, Ghana. But forgetting that Ghana, the processes Ghana used, especially even the coalition system, was copied from Nigeria. They copied from Nigeria, and you could see that in Ghana, they don't, after the announcement of results, they don't really go to court. But in Nigeria, if they don't win, they must go to court. They don't believe that they were defeated for the simple reason that they were not popular enough. Now, you don't want to go and collect your PVCs. What do you want INEC to do? Seriously, for years, they are just lying down here and nobody is coming to claim them. They are struggling with base and you want them to continue to keep it. What are those people that all those PVCs are no longer living? What if they are not interested? What if they've traveled out of the country? But the moment you just mention one thing, problem. From the record, from the beginning of Nigerian election, people have always blamed INEC. Go and trace all of them. They've always blamed INEC for not winning election. But when they win, yes, INEC is good. When they don't win, INEC is bad. Scrap it, amend it, do this. I think we are very funny set of people, and until we begin to look at Jonathan, when that's the only time I've seen that an election was conducted and somebody even made a call even before INEC concluded the announcement of results. That is the only time. If not every other time, it is court battles, court cases, litigations here and there. And so let us change our attitude, and if we don't change our attitude, I can tell you, we will always see our institutions as not good enough. I am in support of INEC. If nobody is coming forward to claim it, destroy them. And then if they are ready, whenever they are ready, they can come for it. Most of them are most times close to election. That's when you see them going to fill up that INEC office looking for PVC. Now there is no election. You will never see anybody in INEC office. What kind of attitude is that? My brother, Nigeria matter. For me, as far as I'm concerned, I'm even tired. It's really unfortunate. Thank you.
All right, Lawson, thank you. I'm really upset with Nigerians. Hello. Chima from Rumokuta. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Isemi. This is almost end of the year.
Yes.
I think before I go into your issue, I don't have a desirable place where I believe I would have come to your office to have a one-on-one conversation with you. But let me just have my grievance before I go into the conversation, because this is the time of forgiveness.
You can send your grievances to us via WhatsApp and then focus on the purposes of this conversation now and answer that. Whatever the grievance is, use the WhatsApp number.
The issue of the INEC something, ordinarily, most Nigerians do that voters card for identification purposes, not for even voting. You understand? Majority of them. And because of, how Nigerian behaves, whatever thing they don't pay money for, they don't take it seriously. If the government have been taxing it now, you will see how serious it will be. And another thing again, one of the things I believe that this collection, why it is delayed or whatever, is having a hiccup, is migration. Most of them relocate. And another thing again, debt. Understand? And the issue is that we are always in this late coming process, just like the previous caller said. When it is time for election, you see them running up and down. But to me, the two major reasons are just debt and migration. The other will come for an holiday, and the lawyer that did registration, they will not go and register. Every time they will not leave, and they will just leave whatever there. So that's my take on that.
All right, Chima, thank you very much. JJ and Rumigbo, good morning.
Andrew, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, JJ.
I think the INEC people are not also being sincere to Nigeria. The other time, the INEC chairman was asked a question. The people that have died, their names are still in the voters' register. People have certified copy of their certificates, right? And they asked them, when will you delete those names? You know what they said? That there need to be a law to make sure that the law permits them to do that. So which law is permitting them now to burn people's voters' register? These are the issues. During the electoral tribunal day on those states, in one of the elections, they saw the name of Michael Jackson, the legendary Michael Jackson, they saw the name of Mike Tyson, and all of them voted in that election. How did their names enter those stuff? Now that you discover that this person is dead, you have Muhammad Ali, you have Michael Jackson in some register. What have you done about it? If you have not done anything, what's the need of rushing to burn voters register? You know that one is easier for you because it's like CBN burning footnote, and you know the rest of the story. Oh, we'll help ourselves, Abed. Thank you.
All right. Zion from GRA, good morning.
Yes, how are you doing?
Very fine, thank you.
I'm so ashamed that I came out with such an information to the public like this. It's a shame. And this is a characteristic to show that it's an organization that has been compromised. A government agency that has been compromised. I challenge anybody. Did you go to INEC office to collect PVC? Or your PVC was sent to you to your ward? Please, somebody should come in and correct Mr. Zion. Do you go to INEC office to collect your PVC? Or INEC is the one that sent it to you? Even told you cannot collect a PVC in proxy, which means Mr. Zion cannot collect his wife's PVC on her behalf. She ought to come, collect it, sign, and go. Is it not so? Now, you made a process so cumbersome because you want to rig the election a particular set of people. Now, the people that have abandoned you and moved on with their lives, you are coming with a lazy and a criminal thinking that you want to condemn or destroy on board them. If they try that, we'll sue them because they are just vandalized government property. And I need to be corrected. By law, you don't temper on government properties. Arrested. And look at it. Because the criminals you are benefiting from it, none of them have spoken to condemn the action of INEC. But they kept quiet. After all, we are in office now. Anything you want to do, just do. And look at even a respected monk, like a professor. Do you know what a professor means? Oh my goodness me. A professor, you are not even a pathfinder. You are a subject of a discussion, which means you create avenue for reasoning for the kind of professors we have in our environment who cannot even coordinate figures during elections, who cannot harmonize their figures during elections. Now you have failed in the kind of laws and processes you put for people not to access their PVC. Now you are coming out in public. You want to collapse them. You want to destroy them. Destroy government property. Our millions that should have fed the poor, millions that would have stopped Boko Haram, millions that would have stopped militancy. Now
all right, Zion, I think we get your point.
You will not go unpunished. Never.
All right, David is in Yenegua. Good morning, David.
Yeah, greetings from the city of Yenegua to you, Mr. Andrew.
Go on, David.
See, for me, hello.
Go on.
As far as I'm concerned, I think litigation is part of our electioneering system. That's why if you take a look at the provisions of the 1999 Constitution as amended, Section 285 clearly makes room for litigations after elections if candidates are not so satisfied with the process. Same thing is also applicable with the Electoral Act. So it's part of it. But then the litigation should not be just frivolous litigations or not just be because you have lost elections. You just want to raise issues. For some, it's not as if they are going to court to look for justice. They just want to be relevant. They just want to use that litigation to negotiate themselves into a position of authority in the ruling government. As I look at it, and they cause unnecessary waste of time and delay, what they will tell you is I've spent money. How do you settle me of all the monies I've spent at the tribunal or at the court? Then they now settle you with one appointment or the other, and you begin to present the government. It's just a thing of attitude. And more so when we talk about other countries. You also agree with me that the election of Donald Trump, the last election, himself and Biden, ended up in the courts too. So it's a question of when you are not satisfied with the process, you can challenge it, but let it not be a frivolous challenge. And the Nigerians, we are too good in this fire brigade approach. It is only when you disclose the election, you hear people going to do voters registration. That is when they want to go and collect their voters card. Ordinarily, these are things that is supposed to be done seamlessly. And INEC too, for me, I want to suggest that let us not have time to say that it is this time you go for voter registration. No, that thing should be a continuous exercise. There should be no time for it. There should be no time frame or time limit. Let it just be a continuous exercise for the people to do seamlessly. And your voter's card is not a means of identification, for God's sake.
All right,
it's not
David.
Something you take to the bank. It's something you bring out every 4 years to protest, ask for whatever thing you want to ask for. That is your power every 4 years. My name is David West.
All right, David, thank you. Okonkwo and Rimokuta, good morning.
Good morning, brother. Let me go directly to your question. That was why people didn't collect their PVC. And now, INEC is threatening to burn them. Number one, the reason was because people have understood that their votes do not count. And they will not count. Just like the last election of Ghana. You can see how different countries across the world congratulated them. Because that election was free, fair, and credible. And after resolution, there was no agitation of going to court. But our own is not in that form. Because they build on rigging and do not allow the votes of people to count. So, to my thought, they should burn all of them, even both registered and unregistered. They should burn all of them. Yes, and continue with their rigging system. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Well, it says burn all of them and continue with the rigging system. I think that INEC is also right to say if it becomes law and added to the electoral laws to say in the space of 10 years, if you don't collect your PVC, it could be recycled. That would make sense to some degree, be honest, because why would someone register for a PVC and not collect it in 10 years? That's one. But two, if INEC also decides to say, let's make the process of registering and collecting a PVC as seamless and easy and simple as possible, if it even means waybilling or delivering to the houses of people if they want it, like find every possible way to make this happen. Let the idea be first, let's explore every opportunity to make sure people can get their PVCs. If that is on ground, then that would make a lot of sense because we might not have anyone who would not get their PVCs, or we might have a very low number of uncollected PVCs. Justice from Omudioga, good morning. Okay, we lost the call from Justice. We'll go to Good News in Port Harcourt. Good morning, Good News.
Good morning, my brother.
Go on.
See, all what we are doing depends on the electoral umpire itself. PVCs are collected, PVCs aren't collected, elections are rigged, judges are doing well, not doing well. Depends on the electoral umpire itself, the head. Check the days of Maurice Iwu. Is it Maurice Iwu? Yes, now. No. The one that gave the June 12th election. Why was June 12th election said it was going to the person? No one would don't have PVC. Because the person in the head refused to be validated. Even in the face of military regime. Now, calm down, we have technology. What stops the electoral umpire to say everybody who is an eligible voter should have it like their BVA, so that when we are no more, they know that number is gone. Unlike we have the BVN card, that is the BVN that is in the card, and they attach such numbers to you so that whenever you vote, there is a contention with the numbers that is being voted, that's number. They can say no. But Mr. A, how to vote the social media? Look at the card to the picture and it showed. I would make it very easy. If the banks can do it, why can't INEC do it? My name is Good News from Port Harcourt.
All right, thank you very much. Good news. And then Christian in Bonny. After that, we'll go take some messages on Facebook. Good morning, Christian.
Good morning, if you hear me. You see, when we should search our conscience as a people. And we should be prepared to tell ourselves the truth. That is the only responsibility we owe this nation. Look, countries are leaving us behind. They are going. This is a giant of black nation, Nigeria. The whole world, they focus on us. Their satellite is on this country. Who is being trampled? They trample themselves in mud. It's so unfortunate that at this stage of the history of this nation, we are still talking about election not being properly conducted, voters registered, and PVCs not collected. And you see little nations, even some of the nations that have bigger population than we do, they can conduct these things effectively. Doesn't it tell us that there's something wrong with us as a people? For God's sake, when will we start doing things right? We know from the beginning onset that in this country, once you are decent, you are frank, you are straightforward, they won't give you any sensitive position to handle. That is a fact, my brother.
I don't think it's a fact. I think, okay, if you say it's a fact, understandably, but it's not the truth.
Don't they drop phone numbers? Can't they call them and verify if these things are really, if this voters card really belongs to people, if they cannot come before? I don't know. These things are not things we have to go further, as if it is rocket science to do. These are things, simple things. And these are responsibilities they give to professors, so-called professors, well-educated people, and they cannot do. Oh, God.
I understand that, Christian. Thank you very much. I think you raised a very valid point. Victor in Rumo Cruciate, unfortunately, we have less than a minute. So, Victor, I'll just give you a few seconds. What do you think about it?
Very quick.
Yes.
But to your question. Now, number one, if you go to INEC office to collect that PVC, the way they behave is very, very funny. Somebody like me, I even have it in mind to do the election, to vote last election. But because of the way they did, I couldn't vote. But the whole thing was, I was so discouraged after this very last election. When we see everything very clear, and somebody was telling us, go to court. And at the end of the day, court did it the way they want. So it's very, very discouraging. If I would like to tell you my mind, I am not thinking about anything PVC again. Thank you.
All right. We'll wrap it up here. Good morning. We go for a commercial now. My name is Ifeemi Andrew. Jude comes in afterwards with Hello Port Harcourt. Enjoy the weekend.
We'll be right back after this.